Episode 57. Jealousy and Hatred. Jake's tall figure entered the crowd. Like a king, he looked so different from everyone else. However, the moment he entered the room, he caught everyone's attention. His dark eyes were like daggers, piercing the girl who had spoken improperly. However, when people thought Jake was about to do something, he quickly looked away. His gaze did not last for even 2 seconds, as if it was just a careless glance. With his deep voice, Jake called,
"Miranda."
Having spent 3 years working with Jake, Miranda knew her boss quite well. No other words needed. The special assistant had already learned what Jake wanted. "Yes." Miranda quickly nodded, turned around, and left the ballroom. Then, people started to notice that behind Jake, there were 2 women following him. "Cousin!" Seeing Lila, Eva suddenly burst into tears. Lila frowned, not paying attention to her. However, Eva quickly complained, "My face! She hit my face!" In Eva's eyes, Lila was clearly someone to rely on. In addition, since Lila and Jake had known each other for so many years, Jake would definitely help Lila as long as Lila said something. Her eyes full of tears, Eva looked helplessly at Lila. Feeling a bit impatient, Lila still asked gently, "Who did this?" "Serena did!" "Well?" Lila seemed to be hesitating, looking up at Jake secretly. His gorgeous features looked divine under the European-style chandelier. However, he was so cold and indifferent. Lila had no idea what he was thinking. Jake did not seem to be noticing their conversation, walking up to Serena quickly. Seeing that, everybody was shocked. Jake walked towards Serena. What does that mean? Girls' looks of admiration suddenly became surprise, and then turned into jealousy and hatred. Even with people looking at her differently, all Serena could see was Jake. She felt like every step he made was an earthquake in her heart. He's here. Shouldn't he choose to be an onlooker? Jake looked down and saw Serena's exposed shoulders, his brows slightly knitted. Seeing him unbuttoning his jacket, Serena was shocked. Why is he taking his jacket off? What does he want to do? Serena was reminded of the bronzed skin and muscular body under his shirt that she had seen. She wanted to step back, but her hand was caught by him. She looked up and saw his eyes, suddenly blushing. When she was about to explain, he put his jacket on her.
"Time to go home, my wife."
Wife. Serena suddenly felt something hit her heart, and an unspeakable feeling suddenly took over her. He was calling her. Serena felt dazed, as if she was in a trance. However, his body temperature left on the jacket was so real. As Jake said that, some people couldn't help letting out small cries. "What the fuck? Serena's husband is Jake?"
"Really? What does he see in that kind of—"
The person stopped himself immediately, looking to Jake's direction timidly. "Mr. Robinson." The girl who had just cursed Serena suddenly became worried. "I was just joking with an old friend. Not really trying to insult her, Mr. Robinson." Seeing the girl's reaction, Henry felt sullen. Although Jake said nothing and did nothing, those people were already pleading and trying to flatter him. At that moment, Henry felt like he was a joker. How pathetic. Jake stood next to Serena, looking quite the match. Indeed, with such a man next to her, Serena did not need his protection and help, did she? But he did not want to give up. Jake did not seem to hear the girl and whispered to Serena, "Let's go." His rough hand held Serena's nervously curled fingers, pulling her away. Serena caught up with Jake, with all sorts of looks cast at her head bowed and her heart racing. She seemed to be the girl that everyone envied, but she felt everything was so unreal, as if she had stolen this happiness from somewhere. Subconsciously, Serena turned her head back and saw Lila standing still with Eva, whose cheeks were swollen next to her. Lila, too, looked jealous of Serena. That cheered Serena up. Serena trotted to keep up with Jake, held his arm, and smiled away. With some documents in her hand, Lila gritted her teeth. Anger and hatred were growing in her heart like weeds. If there were no Serena, Lila would be the one who was enjoying all this glamour. As the couple were about to leave the ballroom, the girl who cursed Serena suddenly heard her phone ringing. "Hi, Dad!" However, in less than 2 seconds, the girl's expression suddenly changed as she screamed. "What? How could this be? In the morning everything was fine. How are we bankrupt in just one day?" Bankrupt? Everyone looked to her. "Who did I offend? I didn't." As the girl was about to talk back, she suddenly saw Jake and Serena leaving and became pale.